All right, welcome to another edition of the Florida Physique Report. This is episode number 51. Today is December 10th, 2015, and we're coming up toward the end of the year. On today's show, we are going to have one of our new IFBB pros from the Florida area, Theodore Atkins. He just won the welterweight class at the MPC Nationals, and it was a big win for him, obviously, and he's a new IFBB pro, so he's got a great personality, and we're going to talk to Teddy Atkins right after our break. And before we do that, though, we got two contests to go over with. Florida Physique Report was not on air last week. I had a problem with a root canal. Had a root canal done and missed the whole week, so I was not in shape to do a Florida Physique Report. So we've got two contests to cover. We've got the Winter Classic, which just took place last weekend on December 5th, and we've also got the South Florida contest, which took place the week before that on November 28th in Miami, Florida. So we got to go over the results of that real quick. This weekend there will be no competitions because the Winter Classic, which took place last weekend, was the last contest on the MPC Florida calendar. So this weekend will be the sanction meeting out in Orlando for all the promoters, all the contest promoters. And then after that sanction meeting is over, next week they will announce the new schedule for 2016. And of course that will include the new division that's coming up, which is the Classic Physique. So it should be very interesting. They're going to talk a little bit about that at the sanction meeting. I'm going to be at the sanction meeting, of course, because I do the Natural Suncoast Classic, which is going to take place on May 28th next year in 2016. And so I will be at that meeting. And I'm also going to bring my camera. Maybe we'll get some interviews with some of the promoters and find out what's going on for 2016. And we'll have that on the Florida Physique Report next week. Also on that same day, which again is going to be this Saturday on December 12th, there will be a posing clinic which will be put on by Deke Warner, the Vice President of the MPC Florida, and it's going to go over all the requirements according to the judges that they're looking for with the posing. So it's very, very valuable seminar to go to, especially if you're a competitor, and especially if you're thinking about going over into this new Classic Physique, because the judges are going to be saying exactly what poses they're going to do and what they're going to be looking for in the physique. So it's going to be a very valuable seminar to go to. So it's going to take place at 1 o'clock this Saturday, December 12th, at the Rosen Center Hotel, which is at 9840 International Drive in Orlando, Florida. You can go to floridaphysique.com. We have the poster right up there, right on the main page, so you can check that out. Again, that'll be 1 o'clock. It's $30 at the door to get in, and like I said, it's going to be a very, very valuable seminar for any competitor in any division of the MPC. All right. Before we have our interview with Teddy Atkins, let's go over the results of the two competitions that took place over the last 2 weeks. First off, let's go over the South Florida contest, which took place November 28th in Miami, Florida. Sergio Pacheco was the promoter. It's always a big show. It's actually the weekend of Thanksgiving, but they still had a really, really good turnout. We'll start off with the Masters in the Masters figure, I should say. The Masters figure over 50 was won by Christy Bouchard. Over 40 went to Lorena Teal, and over 30 went to Miranda Hill. The figure novice, they had two divisions on this. They had a first figure novice, which means it was your first competition, and then they had novice figure for anyone who had not won a competition before. Both of those were won by Adonis Vera, so good debut for Adonis Vera. She wins two contests in her first show. In the figure open contest, Erica Otero was the winner in Class A. Adonis Vera won again, Class B, and then Jenny Garzon won Class C. The overall in the figure open went to Erica Otero. Very good physique. Women's physique went to Tanya Lee. And then in the men's physique, the Masters division, in the over 50, that went to Keith Ferguson. Over 40 went to Frank Guzman. And over 30 went to Nicholas Rusak. The team men's physique was won by Jonathan Estevez. And then in the novice men's physique, Class A went to Pablo Gonzalez. Very good physique on Pablo. And Emmanuel Nuono won Class B. And then the overall, Pablo Gonzalez won the overall. In the open men's physique, they also had two classes. Pablo Gonzalez again won Class A, and Sergey Pelkin won Class B. And again, the overall went to Pablo Gonzalez. So congratulations to Pablo Gonzalez, wins both the men's physique open and novice. In the bikini division, they had an over 40 and over 30. Over 40 in Class A went to Yasmin Abreu, and Class B went to Valerie Torres. The overall bikini over 40 went to Yasmin Abreu. Over 30 bikini, Class A went to Maggie Paez, and Hoda Jara won Class B. And in the overall, Maggie Paez was the overall winner in the over 30 bikini. Novice bikini, Class A went to Carolina Quinones, and Class B went to Casey Duke, and the overall there went to Carolina Quinones. And then going to the always popular bikini open division, Class A in bikini open went to Victoria Bula, and Maggie Paez, who was the Masters winner, she took second place in that class. Casey Duke won Class B, and Hoda Jara won Class C, and then the overall went to Victoria Bula. And we've seen Victoria compete a couple times this year. She's got a really good physique and has won a couple overalls. All right, moving over to the men's bodybuilding at the South Florida contest, the Masters division, they had an over 70. Ted Hurst was the winner there. Ted's won a couple over 70 divisions this year. And they didn't have an over 60, but they had an over 50. Gilbert Rios was the lightweight winner, and Orlando Paz was the heavyweight winner, and Orlando Paz won the over 50 overall. In the over 40, Leonardo DeCarmo, very ripped. He won the lightweight class, and the veteran competitor James Bivens was the heavyweight winner. In the overall over 40, Leonardo DeCarmo was the winner. And then in the over 35, Seti Cruz was the lightweight winner. Really good physique on Seti, very compact, very thick. And Jordan Vizcano won the heavyweight. And the overall for the over 35 went to Seti Cruz. The teen bodybuilding went to Nuvaldo Menendez. Good physique on Nuvaldo, very tall and ripped. Novice bodybuilding, lightweight class went to Pablo Gonzalez, who was the men's physique winner. Rui Garcia was the heavyweight winner, and Rui Garcia won the overall novice bodybuilding. In the open bodybuilding, Kevin Santana won the lightweight. Seti Cruz, who won the over 35 overall, he was the middleweight winner. Rui Garcia, who was the novice winner, also won the light heavyweight in the open. And Andros O'Farrell won the heavyweight in the open. Then the overall men's bodybuilding open went to Rui Garcia. So congratulations to Rui Garcia. He won the overall in both the open bodybuilding and the novice bodybuilding. All right, and then last week's contest, the Winter Classic, put on again by Golden Lion Productions. Golden Lion Productions is out of Naples, Florida, and they're doing a great job. They've got like 4 shows they're promoting now. They're also going to be promoting, co-promoting the Karina Nascimento Classic, which will take place in February. That'll be the first show for her. Okay, so they went over to Fort Lauderdale, and they had a really good contest at the Parker Playhouse, which is right next to the War Auditorium where the Southern States takes place. So it's in Fort Lauderdale right there. And it was very, very nice theater. So let's go over the results of that. They started off with the men's bodybuilding masters. Over 60 division went to Rolando Tiso. Over 50 went to Simon Morgan. Very tough class, over 50. They had like 6 competitors, and they were really good. Some really excellent over 50 competitors. Over 40, or another really excellent physique, Ross Caesar. Really good development, good proportions, good muscularity, really good physique on Ross Caesar. Very impressed. And over 35 went to Michael Tremontin. And then the teen bodybuilding went to Robert Foster Conrad. And novice bodybuilding, Jonathan Whitlock won the lightweight class. Bill Shirky, very ripped, won the middleweights. And Tyler Garceau, sort of a young guy, I think he's in his late 20s. Very, very good physique, very thick and very complete physique, and also very ripped. He peaked perfect. He won the heavyweight, and Tyler Garceau won the overall, and well-deserved. Then they moved on to the figure division. Lynn Richardson won the Masters over 50, and Shiree Kowalski won the Masters figure over 30. In the open figure, they had 3 classes. Lacey Oki was Class A winner. Nicole Gonzalez, very impressive. Another very young physique, very first contest. She's a military girl and comes from South Florida, and really great development. I see great things for Nicole. I think she could go all the way to the pro level. She's got that kind of potential. She won Class B, and Canel Landau won Class C, and then, as expected, Nicole Gonzalez, very easily the overall winner. Really good development on Nicole. Women's physique, only one competitor, Brandy Wood, was the winner. Then they move over to the men's physique. Teenage men's physique was Reed Travis. Masters men's physique over 50 went to Marty Berger, who just competed in the bodybuilding in the All-South class, and he won the lightweight class there, and he switched over to men's physique here and won the over 50. Juan Mendoza was the over 40 winner in the men's physique, and Sebastian Oygen was the over 35 winner in men's physique. In novice men's physique, three classes there. Thassa Cottrell was the Class A winner. Max Stevens, who was a winner at the Naples show out in May, I think, he won Class B, and Jonathan Mordecai won Class C. And in the overall, Jonathan Mordecai had the overall physique, so he won overall in novice. In opens men's physique, Marty Berger went over to that class also and won Class A again, so he did very well. Brandon Collier won Class B. Aninde Gordon won Class C, and he beat out Sergi Pelkin, who just won his class at the South Florida the week before. So that was a very tough class. And Julian Quaglernimi was the winner in Class D, and Julian was the overall winner. Julian's got an excellent physique. He used to compete as a bodybuilder. He's been competing about 20 years. Wide shoulders, very small waist, really good physique. And he's going to switch over to the classic physique division next year, and I think he's going to do really well. All right, let's move over to the bikini. Huge contest in the bikini. This contest was huge, this Winter Classic. For having a show in December, I've never seen a show in December before. They had 175 total competitors. It was amazing. Teen division in the bikini was really competitive. 11 teenage bikini competitors. The first two, first place and second place, were sisters. Macy Kosia, she won first place, and her sister Riley Kosia was in second place. So the Kosia sisters doing really well. They got a good future. And the Masters bikini over 50 went to Kathy Bucati, who was the best I've seen her this year. Kathy's must have been dieting all year because this was the best she's looked. Over 40 went to Barbara Serini. She beat out 13 other competitors in the over 40 division. And Janetta Cesar was the over 30 winner, and she beat out 15 competitors. Novice bikini was huge, 58 total competitors. Genesis Colmenares was the winner in Class A, and the Kosia sisters, the teenage Kosia sisters, were actually third and fourth. Macy Kosia got third, and Riley Kosia got fourth. So they're doing good in the open also. 28 competitors in Class A in the novice. Courtney Fletcher, first contest ever, looked fantastic in winning Class B. Great glute development, man. That's what sealed it for her. She had really killed it there. 15 competitors in Class B, and Natasha Iononi, who I believe is from Naples, also won Class C. And then in the overall, Courtney Fletcher was the winner in the overall novice bikini, her very first contest, beating out 58 competitors. So congratulations to Courtney. And then in the open bikini, another very tough division, 59 total competitors. Hope Howard was the winner in Class A, and she beat out 17 competitors. Janetzi Shizov was Class B winner, and she beat out Victoria Bula, who was the winner the week before at the South Florida. Marcia Goncalves, who is now, I believe, that's got to be her 5th or 6th win this year. What an incredible physique Marcia's got, and I think this was her best look ever. She's been dieting all year, and this was the best she's looked. She easily won Class C. She beat out Courtney Fletcher, who got second place in this class. It was a very tough class. 15 competitors in that class, really high quality. And then Natasha Iononi, who won her class at the novice, also won her class in the open, won Class D, beating out 11 competitors. And then the overall, as expected, Marcia Goncalves, incredible physique on Marcia, like I said, and this girl's a pro bikini competitor in the making, no doubt about it. I predict she's going to be a pro by next year. She should be a pro because she's got that kind of physique. She is wiping out these amateurs, and she deserves to be in the pro class. All right, and then they finished off with the men's bodybuilding. Marty Berger switched over to the bodybuilding division and won the lightweight class. So what a night for Marty. He wins his class in the Masters and Open men's physique, and then goes into the bodybuilding and wins his class there. Diego Spandoni, another excellent physique, was the middleweight winner. This is the best I've ever seen Diego. He was really ripped and peaked. The light heavyweight class, Ross Caesar, who was the Masters winner in the over 40, he switched over to the Open. He won that class. Ross has got a great physique. And then the heavyweight winner was our novice overall winner, Tyler Garceau. He went over to the Open and he won the heavyweight class. And then in the overall, very good pose down especially between the middleweight, the light heavy, and the heavyweight. 3 excellent winners, along with Marty Berger. And the overall winner was Tyler Garceau, who won the overall. So Tyler won the novice and the Open. He's got a great physique. We did an interview with him afterwards. All right, so that wraps it up. A lot of good competition over the last 2 weeks in both the South Florida and the Winter Classic. Also at the Winter Classic, Karina Nascimento was the guest poser, along with Ricky Tricky Jackson. He really brought down the house. Jay Cutler, 4-time Mr. Olympia, was on hand. And he was out in the lobby taking pictures with everybody. And Jay also got up and gave a nice speech to the audience. And they presented me with the Heart of the Lion Award because it's Golden Lion Productions. And I was very honored to get that award. And Jay Cutler gave me the award. So thank you very much to the promoters, Giovanni and Paco, for thinking of me and giving me that award. I really do appreciate it. All right, this weekend, as I said, we've got the sanction meeting at both the Central District in Orlando, Florida, and also the South District is going to be having their sanction meeting at Fort Lauderdale. So both those sanctions meetings will be taking place this Saturday, and the Florida schedule, the MPC Florida schedule for 2016 will be up next week after those sanction meetings take place. So we'll have, I'm sure it's going to be a gigantic year for 2016, because I know they're going to be adding actually more shows, and they had 60 shows already this year, so it's going to be a big year for 2016. And don't forget about the Deke Warner Posing Clinic this Saturday on December 12th at 1 o'clock at the Rosen Center Hotel at 9840 International Drive in Orlando, Florida. If you're a competitor, this would be a really good event to go to. It's $30 at the door. Make sure you try and make it 1 o'clock this Saturday at the Rosen Center Hotel. All right, that's it for the Florida Physique Report. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have our interview of the week with Theodore Atkins, our new pro from Florida, who won the welterweight class at the MPC Nationals. So we're going to have a great conversation with Teddy Atkins right after this break. We'll be right back with the Florida Physique Report. Check out NFE All Natural Warrior Supplements, featuring pure isolate protein made with natural stevia flavor, 1 gram of sugar and no fat. NFE Trim, thermogenic fat burner, boost your metabolism, suppress your appetite, build strength, develop muscle, and shed that body fat. Go to NFE.com today.
NFE stands for No Freaking Excuses.
welcome back to the Florida Physique Report, and my special guest this week is Teddy Atkins, who is our new pro from Florida. He just won the welterweight class at the NPC Nationals. How you doing, Teddy?
Man, I'm fine, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I follow you guys all the time.
Oh, great.
I'm a big time, yeah, man. I'm a big time fan of Mr. Olympia, all-natural Mr. Olympia.
Thank you, man.
So I really appreciate being here, dude. Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about your career, Teddy, because I saw you compete. The first time I think I saw you compete was at the Southeast USA in Orlando, Chris Edie show, and you actually got second to Pablo Sandino, who also got his pro card at the NPC Nationals because he got second at the middleweights, and he beat you out at the Southeastern. But when I saw you, I said, "Wow, this guy's got a great physique. You know, you're very complete physique, very proportioned, very thick." And then you dialed it in even more for the Nationals, and you won first place in your class and got your pro card.
Yeah. So here's a crazy story, dude. And I know you asked me to tell you about my career, how it first started, but let me skip it.
Okay.
So I actually placed. We went to Orlando and we didn't come in first. Everybody wants to come in first.
Right.
I actually took his picture and put it on my refrigerator, and my girlfriend reminded me. Every time I went to cheat on my diet, she was like, "You need to look like this," my girlfriend. Right. And so he was my motivation. And so when I met him backstage at the show, and I told him, I was like, "Dude, you were my motivation." And he was all focused and everything, and him and George Farrell was there and stuff like that. And we ended up both doing very well. Fortunately, we didn't have to go against each other again because he did middle and I did welter.
Yeah.
And so I got started.
He was planning on being a welter, though, wasn't he? And then he went a little too heavy, and he went in as a middle.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy? I was planning on being a middle and ended up being a welter. He wanted to be a welter. Yeah, see how that worked out? So this is how I got started. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. My dad was a bodybuilder. Every kid wants to be like his father.
Yeah.
I ended up going to college. I went to Florida A&M University, FAMU. Did my first show. Didn't know what I was doing. Oh my gosh! I would go for days without eating. I would just eat like one piece of meat. And I didn't know what I was doing. The first time I tried to drink, because I've never drank before, I got a shot of Hennessy so I was told that the liquor would dry you out on stage. So I got a shot of Hennessy, and I pinched my nose and I tried to drink it, and I ended up spitting it all out. And that's the extent of my alcohol. Anyway, so we did the show a couple of times. It was called the Mr. Fitness Show. And I placed very well. I won the show every time I done it, which was 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I trained each person that was in the show. And so from then on, the bodybuilding bug just stuck with me, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
had the guy. How long have you been training, and how long have you been competing, Teddy?
I would say I've been training since '98, like seriously training.
Okay.
And I've been probably competing since 2002, if you exclude the FAMU stuff. Okay. And this is so crazy, John. There's a guy named Dwayne Hagelbrook who I went to college with, and we never competed against each other, but we did the same show. We're best friends now, and we train each other now for shows, and we also have a radio show now called the Mr. Fitness Show.
Oh, okay.
In honor of the first bodybuilding show that we did together. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So how did your dad do when he competed?
You know what? He doesn't talk about it too much. I remember him saying he and his best friend Harold, who lived next door, they would always throw the weights around. Okay. And he was like, I stopped when I had to buy my own clothes, and he had to get his clothes custom made. Yeah. He had his deep voice. Yeah. And it reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I remember him watching these old Pumping Iron videos. Yeah. And it was on VHS. Right. I know I'm telling you my age, right? And so that's how I got the bug, Yeah. So that's crazy, man. Yeah.
Okay. So your physique is really complete and real thick. Did you think you had good genetics for bodybuilding?
Yeah, I definitely do. I give credit to my mom and to my dad. My mom, who's never lifted weights a day in her life, but anyway. And one of the things that I like doing, I can't give you all my secrets, but I will give you a lot of them. One of the things that I really like doing though is static holds, and I like doing negatives. I seen a behind the scenes video of Kai Green, and it really shocked me, dude. He was doing like 135 on some plie squats. For those of you who don't know, they're like sumo squats are the same thing, Yeah. And he was doing it for glutes, and he was going really slow, and he was talking to everybody. He's real methodical. Yeah. Anyway, so we use a lot of that type training, and I think that's one of the reasons that I have those fuller muscle bellies. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, I did a lot of posing in my hotel room.
Okay.
And I was extremely tired, but I did a lot of posing, and I think that helped push the carbohydrates into the muscle, which helped them look very, very full, even though I felt horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many national level shows have you done, Teddy?
Man, John, oh my gosh, I say 6 or 7.
Oh,
But
really? When was your
yeah,
first
so
one?
my first national, I was so nervous, John. I was asking everybody for advice, you know, and I ended up coming in like 16th place. And
Yeah.
John, from experience, and listeners, you guys may not know this, but once you get to 16, they don't rank you anymore, so there
Yeah.
could be like 15 people at 16.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Right.
so I came in like last place. I would say that was probably like in 2004, maybe 2005.
Okay.
And I remember it was nationals in Atlanta.
Okay.
Nationals bounced around a couple of years. Listeners,
Yeah.
for you guys who don't know, Atlanta. I think it was Dallas
Yeah.
and
Atlanta,
Miami.
Dallas, and Miami.
So
Yeah.
I had the worst experiences, John, in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you who may not know, there's a national show in Las Vegas as well.
The USA.
That it's the USA's, and I feel like maybe there's different judges or something, or
Yeah.
the
They say it's
climate.
different for the West Coast and the East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that West Coast East Coast beef. I don't know if there's
Right.
a rap.
Right. Right.
But anyway, man. So I did very well, and at this show, I was very, very humbled. I met Leland Broderick. Remember, I just told you I watched the Pump and Iron all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that scene Lee, I was going crazy, So that was really, really good, man. And right now, I think my next show is going to be Tampa Show of Strength in
Okay.
2016.
Okay.
So here's the deal. I'm talking to Eric Diggs, who's my coach,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh man, I get a year off. I get to eat pizza. Da, da, da. He's like, well, no. You get 2 weeks off, and we're right back at it. And so I said, dude, I'm gonna have to report to my boss, which is Treese. Treese Page. She's my girlfriend. She's my boss. She's the cook. She's the dietitian. She's the chef. She puts up with me when I'm angry or when I'm upset. And so I had to report that to her, and she didn't take it kindly. So, I bribe her though, John. What I do is I buy her a gift after every bodybuilding show, and so it
Okay.
helps me get
That's
through.
a good idea.
Yeah, helps me get through life.
Yeah. Smart man.
So here's a little bit about me that I didn't mention. I have 6 degrees currently. I went to 3 universities. I mentioned
Wow.
Florida. I mentioned Florida A&M, Florida State University. Go Noles, by the way. Go Noles. We beat up those Gators a couple weeks ago. Anyway, and I went to Jacksonville University. I'm a teacher now.
Okay.
Everybody thinks I teach PE. Dude, I don't teach PE. I teach AP World History. It's a difference. And so I coach. I do strength and conditioning coach for football, varsity football.
Okay.
Also, girls weightlifting. Dude, we had a girls weightlifting meet tonight. I know this is off the subject, but we had a girls weightlifting meet tonight. It was our conference. There were 17 high schools in Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida, and we came in second to last. So I was really proud about that.
Weightlifting meet, like Olympic lifting?
Yeah, we do
Okay.
clean and jerks. We do clean and jerks, and we do bench press. And the reason we didn't fare well is because we only had 7 girls. So here's the deal, dude. If you don't have a girl in a category, you lose points.
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay.
we did have a girl who placed, which means she's going to go on to regionals and then to state.
Oh, cool. I didn't even know they had that. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Because of Title IX, which is a federal mandate saying that all girls have to have the same amount of sports as boys, in all of Jacksonville, we only have girl weightlifting.
Okay.
There's boys. And then I also do track. I also do track as well.
Okay. Great. What's AP history?
Oh, it's advanced placement U.S. history, so American history.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll do a world history, which I don't like as much because here's the deal: you don't get to cover as much. It's the entire Earth, it's the entire world,
Yeah.
in the same amount of time that you're going to cover one nation. It's only like
Yeah.
200 something years old. You know what I mean?
Is that a passion of yours, history?
Actually, no. I hate teaching, dude. I didn't want to. John, I didn't want to teach, John. Here's the deal, man. I went to school with all these degrees. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to be a psychologist. I'm actually a certified psychologist. They weren't hiring for it. There was no money. It was like, you could be a teacher or you could be a bum. What do you want to do,
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I want to be a teacher. And I ended up being pretty good at it. And I was like, I want to keep doing this. And, John, you're a personal trainer.
Yeah.
A lot of personal training is teaching.
Yeah.
You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
Teaching people about their bodies and stuff. So they go hand in hand now.
Mm-hmm.
And students really listen to me now because I'm kind of buff, and
Yeah.
two, because they follow me on Facebook and all that stuff. And I deny it. John, listen, every time they say, "Oh, Mr. Atkins, we've seen you in your posing panties," I get upset when they say that. But I said, listen, it's not me, that's my brother, because teachers, you want to have like a certain mystique about you, where
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not like as a sexual whatever.
So you
So
teach high school, huh?
yeah, I teach. Well, now I teach middle. I
Okay.
traditionally teach high. No, I traditionally teach high, but
Okay.
they moved me down as unfortunately a lot of students fail when they go to the ninth grade. It's
Okay.
a hard transition, so I'm helping prepare them for that transition.
Okay. So
So,
what was the best you did at any contest before this year, Teddy?
okay, all right. So for the last 3 years, I came in fourth at nationals. It kind
Okay.
of sucks, right? So I've always been the bridesmaid, never
Yeah.
the not grooms. I don't know how to say it. You know what I mean? So
So you were fourth every time?
yeah, fourth, and then before that I was like fifth, and then before that I was eighth, and then before that
Okay.
I was 16th. And here's the deal for listeners who don't know: at nationals, it's your first two placings. So
You
in
get
my mind,
pro
right, I
cards,
came
yeah.
in. Yeah, first two placings end up going pro. So in my
Right.
mind, right, my coach's mind, we're like, okay, listen, those two guys are gone. I'm number four,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that means the third and the fourth place persons
Right.
next year. So every year I'm expecting to do it. And
Right.
I
Right.
here's another secret. I think the key to my success was the sauna. I know you're waiting for something more than that, for the ball to drop, but no, listen, but here's the deal. I felt like the sauna helped thin my skin out. So for
Okay.
those who are listening, the one of the objects of bodybuilding is to show as much muscle as possible, right? You want to lose as much fat, you want to maintain as much muscle during your diet.
Right.
But when you're on stage, I have thick skin, meaning that I have a lot of fat in between my muscle and my skin. And I
Okay.
don't know how to get rid of it. So the sauna helped pull extra water in and my muscle. And the thermogenics, me heating my body up, causes you to burn more calories
Mm-hmm.
because your body's trying to maintain its temperature. So after each workout, I would go into the sauna and I would sit there and I would pose in the sauna.
Hmm.
John, I'm telling you these secrets. And then here's another key, and I know it's going to sound like I shouldn't do it, but I did. I would jump into the shower and I would do a cold shower. Now, I was always taught when I was doing training that you shouldn't do that. You're going to shock the body if you do that. But after reading some articles and doing it myself and believing in Eric Diggs, I did it. It helped close my pores up, helped me maintain that heat, that temperature, that heated
Mm.
temperature. Then after that, I would have a diet that was high in fat and not carbs.
Hmm. Okay.
You see it? So, and that's the key, dude. That's how I got my skin to look thinner.
So you would go in the sauna every day?
No, no. I wanted to. I wanted to. Joel Thomas. I know I'm dropping a lot of names. So for your list, Joel Thomas is a new pro. He lives in
Yep.
Jacksonville, Florida as well. He's from Lake City. He's a really, really cool guy.
Yeah.
And they told me, they said, dude, listen, if you do it every day, your body's going to get used to it. You're not going to get the effect that you really want to get.
Okay.
Also, too, for listeners, here's another little known fact. Being in the sauna helps regulate your estrogen levels.
Hmm.
So it's really more for females than males. But any
Yeah.
little tidbit I give you or you could find out will help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, they reduced me to 4 times a week.
Okay.
Then they caught me sneaking in there. They reduced me to 3 times a week. And then they cut me off altogether 2 weeks out from the show. Week of the show, I was able to do it for 15 minutes, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Okay. What did
No,
you
no, no.
What did you normally do it when you're doing it 3-4 times a week?
I was doing it for 25 minutes,
Okay.
and that's only because, and I really enjoyed it. And what I did to try to stay in there an extra 5 or 10 minutes is sometimes I would bring water in there with me. And I
Hmm.
know you're thinking like, dude, I thought you wanted to sweat all the water out. Well, it was just a process of my body getting used to releasing the water
Okay.
was key. And flexing also, again, especially my glutes. So for your listeners, the pinnacle of being in shape now is having your gluteus maximus
Yeah.
and minimus, your butt,
Yeah.
to show as many striations as possible. And so what striations are simply the muscle fiber itself showing through the skin.
Right.
And the only way that happens is you have as little fat as possible between the muscle itself and the skin.
Right.
And it's really, really tricky to do it because your body normally has a lot of fat there. Especially if you like people like Kim Kardashian, you have a lot of fat in your butt.
Yeah, and everybody's different. Some people have more fat there than others, and I mean, some people are ripped all over and they still have fat in their glutes.
Right. And so here's the deal. It's so hard to get your glutes to be, striated where there's very little fat there that people have now turned to saying, oh, it's genetic.
Yeah.
It's not genetic, just calves. Here's the deal. Now, some calves are genetic, but that doesn't mean you can't grow them. You look at guys like LeBron James, Michael Jordan, they've been jumping their entire life. Well, black African Americans, black guys, usually have high attaching calves. So in other words, what I mean by that, listeners, is their calf stops very high in relation to where their Achilles tendon and their heel is.
Yeah.
And it starts very high to the back of their knee.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have anything them jumping. They still jump through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Well, here's another tidbit. All right. Here's another tidbit. You only have two muscle groups in your calf, right? Anytime you do your calf exercise at a 45-degree angle, a seated calf raise. So if you do that, you're going to hit your soleus, the calf muscle that goes underneath.
Right.
And that's the marathon runner. That's the one that can do a lot of distance. So my advice to you, if you're trying to get big calves and you're having a hard time, which John didn't ask me this question, I'm going off on a tangent. This is what I do, right?
We'll take it.
So this is what you do. So I want you to start off doing at least 3 or 4 sets of calf raises doing the seated calf first.
Right.
Then you can do all your standing calf raises or your leg press calf raises because it's going to engage the gastrocnemius, the larger muscle, and the smaller muscle. Mm-hmm. But the smaller muscle is pre-fatigued because you're already focused on that.
Right.
Now, last little tidbit, then I'll let John ask a question because I'm going off, but I love this stuff. Right? So, John, listen. When you're doing your standing calf raises, I want you to go as heavy as you could possible. Do about 10 reps. Then I want you to immediately get off of that and do 25 reps immediately, lightweight, no weight at all. You can do them standing. You can do very, very light on a leg press. What this is going to do, it's going to flood the calf full of blood, and you're going to get that burning feeling, which is lactic acid tearing the muscle down. So your calf has fast and slow twitch muscle fibers.
Right.
The reason your calf don't usually grow, guys, is because all you do is go heavy on them. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Here's the deal. Dude, your calf is used to doing 5,000 to 10,000 repetitions a day.
Yeah.
You're getting on that machine and you're doing 10 reps. What is that going to do to a muscle that's used to doing 10,000 reps a day? Think about that for a minute.
Right.
It makes sense. It's not going to do anything. If you combine the high repetitions with the low repetitions, I promise you, after one set, just one, you're going to feel it so much that you're going to be shocked. Sorry, John. You could.
No, that's good. I liked it. So when you did the seated calves, because that's a muscle, like you said, that's an endurance muscle for marathon, how many reps are you doing there?
So what I would do on there is I still would go heavy. So the key is I go as heavy as I can anytime I'm lifting weights.
Okay.
And when I'm not lifting weights, I go as many reps as I can. And John, I don't rest in between my heavy set and my light set.
Okay.
Also too, guys, I want full flexation and full extension. So this is what I mean by that. I want you to get up as high as you can on your tippy toes, and I want you to drop your heels as low as possible.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I need you to stretch the calf as much as possible, and I need you to contract the calf as much as possible. So guys, this is how muscles work. Right? They work by the shorter you make that muscle, the more the muscle is working. That's why everybody says squeeze, 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 contract, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
Right.
Right? So have to do that. And I see guys all the time who go halfway, and they end up having a muscle that's partially developed. That's stupid. That's not what you want. That's dumb.
Okay, and then going back to the sauna, you're doing it like 25 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week.
I was doing 25 minutes 3 or 4 times a week. Here's a disclaimer that John just threw at you. If you're pregnant or if you're on your menstrual, all right, I want you to. We want you to seek a physician. If you feel dizzy at any time, we want you to back out of it. We don't want you to do it. If you start cramping, right, this is a trick. Guys, don't be telling everybody my tricks. I feel some type of way when you do. Here's a trick, right? I want you to use honey, and I want you to use a little bit of salt in your water if you cramp.
Okay.
Right? The reason I want you to do this is this. Honey has sugar in it. Everybody knows that. Sugar is a catalyst. It's going to deliver everything to your body faster. For every gram of salt you have in your body, for every 1 gram of salt, it holds 2.2 grams of water. So when you perspire, the reason your sweat tastes disgusting is because you're losing sodium, potassium, and magnesium. If you do what I tell you to do with the honey and the salt, you're going to replace those quickly. That's one of the reasons Gatorade is so popular, and it hydrates you faster than water. Do that, you'll stop cramping right away. Or you can pour salt in your hand and lick it out of your hand and drink water right behind that. My daddy taught me that trick. I love it.
Okay. So last year at the Nationals, you got fourth. What was the plan for this year to go in and get your pro card?
Well, this is what I figured out, man. Bigger is not better. Okay. I know in Texas, bigger is better, but the judges told me that time and time again. I had a mental issue with getting that small. And so I just had to come to terms with, you know what? Armando is here in Jacksonville, Florida. Armand. He's trained by Don Long, and he and I have been going back and forth against each other all the time. So check this out, John. This dude went pro at the USA's, so I feel pressure. He and I went against each other at Nationals. Last year he came in third, I came in fourth. Okay. We just talked about this, John. You and I just talked about the fact that I'm under the impression that the first, second place guy loses, so I'm next up in line. Armando just won. Now I feel indirect pressure.
Right.
So now I have Armando's picture on my microwave. You see my pattern, John? All right. So he dropped to welterweight. This is answering your question.
Okay.
I'm like, he and I both competed at middleweight last year.
And you guys are both middleweights last year.
Same height. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm a little darker than because he's like Spanish. I'm black. You get it. So anyway, so he did it. That was in my mind. And so I tried to follow that pattern as well.
Okay.
I followed that pattern as well. And so that was part of the strategy to go in. Not because he's Armando Armand, but because we've seen that he had a tactic that worked. The judges also told me I needed to be smaller, I needed to be tighter. They kept saying that I was looking soft. So for your listeners out there, what we mean by looking soft is you're holding either fatty tissue, so that when you're flexing your muscles, you're not seeing the separation between the muscle groups.
Yeah.
So what we mean by that, guys, is if you have a quadricep, quad means 4. So when you're flexing your thigh muscle, you should see 4 distinct large muscle groups. Bi for biceps means 2. We should see 2 separate muscle heads when you flex your bicep. Anyway, you didn't see that because I had fat or because I had water. Here's the catch-22. Fat holds water. God dang it, John. It took me 15 years to figure that out. You know what I mean? So,
all right, what was your weight this year, Teddy, compared to last year?
Dude, this year I was 164 and a quarter on the dot.
Okay.
So for your listeners, the highest weight you could be for welterweight is 164 and a quarter on the dot. It was beautiful. It was meant to be. Last year I was 174 on the dot. Okay. So what that tells me is
10 pounds.
10 pounds. So guys, listen. What that tells me is one or two things. Either one, I lost 10 pounds of BS. I don't like to curse, so BS. Mm-hmm. Or two, I put on some more muscle between last year and this year, and I dieted harder and dieted down because I physically on stage didn't look smaller. And John, what I did was there's this camera guy in the back of the stage, right? And here's the thing, listeners, when you're out there, the lighting backstage sucks, and the mirrors are crappy, so you think you look like crap. So I'm walking around and heads down. I feel like I look good, and everybody around me feels like they look good. They're not going to tell you look good. They're your competition.
Right.
So I go over to the middleweights, and I start posing with them, and the people were taking pictures. I said, "Hey, dude, let me see one of the pictures." And I seen the picture, and the guy was like, "Hey, you look like a middleweight." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I am." I lied. I wasn't a middleweight.
Right.
But I have to realize that I looked bigger. So to go back to answering your question, John, even though I was 10 pounds lighter this year, I still looked as big as I did last year.
Yeah.
There's a fake pro named Dexter Jackson. He's here in town. And when I say in town, I mean Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah. He has the illusion of looking huge.
Yeah.
This guy hits the stage 225, maybe 235. But he's competing with guys who are 250, 260, 270 and higher. But the illusion looks so much bigger.
Right.
And so for people at home, the reason for that is this, and I have it too. He has small joints and large muscles compared to those small joints. And so when he flares his back out, his latissimus dorsi, his cobra, whatever you want to call it, he looks so much bigger. And so that's the key going forward into the pros, John, that I want to use. Okay. I'm not going to be the biggest on stage August 5th and August 4th, 2016. I'm planning on coming in about 185, which is 20 pounds, which is a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not going to be the highest. The weight highest is 212.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't need that to look. I don't need that to win. Yeah, I'm going into the 212s, John.
Yeah. Okay. Now, when you went into the Nationals, you were up against another Floridian, John Durante, and he's got the freaky legs. How did you feel after the prejudging with you and him? Did you feel it was pretty close?
It was pretty close actually. I was very nervous, and so here's the deal. It's all about strategy too. This is this is a mental game. So I said, you know what? If they ever put us by each other again, because there was some talk that they may judge us again, I know he has strong legs, so I'm going to play to my strengths. Do you remember Ronnie Coleman? I think it was his second to last show, and they start switching up the judging a lot, and they had this special round, and he stayed to the back. His strength was his back, and so the announcer, who I think was Bob Ciccarello, listeners, he's another famous professional bodybuilder who is now an awesome announcer. He makes jokes and stuff like that.
Right.
Anyway, and he's with bodybuilding.com for a long time. All right. Ronnie Coleman said, "I'm staying this way, baby." And so he stayed. He did back posing for 10 minutes on stage against Jay Cutler, who's another awesome bodybuilder. But here's the deal. Ronnie Coleman knew it was close. He played to his strength, and he stayed to the back.
Right.
Well, my back was my strength. I said that's what I was going to roll with. I felt like he was a little bit softer in the hamstrings than I was. So I was going to roll with that. And if we did do quads, if we had to do legs, I was going to make sure to throw my abdominals out there, my obliques with it. So I was going to do abdominal, head over thigh. I mean, I was going to do that in case they paired us together. So I had a strategy for him. Okay. Then I was going to shake my booty, which I did shake my booty during the posing routine to make them forget about his legs.
Yeah.
It's a strategy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You look like you had a good time up there when you were posing.
And here's the trick, John. Don't tell anybody I told you this. I can't dance. I don't have any rhythm, dude.
Really?
I know. My girlfriend laughed at me so hard. John, you're my brother from another mother. So, like Treese Page, my girlfriend laughed at me so hard. She was like, "Baby, what are you gonna do to get there? You know you can't dance." I said, "I'm gonna wing it." So I just I just went with the rhythm, man, and it just took me somewhere.
Wow, that's great. So how did it feel to win finally after all those years of competing in the Nationals?
It's surreal now, and it was surreal then. After the show, people saying, you did a great job, and I was like, really, you really think so? I still was like that. I'm a very humble guy.
Yeah.
I pray a lot, and I give glory to God for my accomplishments, and so I make sure that I stay humble, even when I talk to, no matter who it is I talk to, John. I feel like I can learn something from everybody.
Yeah.
He that knows something knows that he knows nothing.
Yeah.
And so I still can't even tell you how it feels, John. I feel like a big kid in a candy store still, I can't,
Oh, good.
So I think it's going to really hit me when I got to pay for the pro card. It's like $400.
Right.
But yeah, so it feels really good. I'm really, really excited. And even though I've been at this for like 15 years and I finally won, I feel like I've been at it for 15 minutes,
Yeah.
So
Well, that's great.
So, yeah.
It's always good to see somebody who's got a lot of enthusiasm and is excited about it and is happy to be up there,
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is. It is. I agree.
Well, I think that's a good move going into the Tampa Pro. It's your, well, not your hometown. You're in Jacksonville, but I mean, it's almost your hometown. It's in Florida, and that's a really great show. And Tim Gardner has all the different divisions, so it's always probably one of the biggest pro shows because it has so many competitors. So it'll be a great show for you.
Yeah, and so it's close to my dad. It would be inexpensive to get my family there as well.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said. I feel like I won't have certain bodybuilders there because I'm like, oh shoot, is Flex Lewis going to be there? I was nervous.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, he's not going to be there. I was like, I really want to compete against him, but I want to be like realistic too. I'm like, dude, you're so ready for that. But I'm excited going into this show, John. I want to focus on glutes.
Okay.
And I want to have a Christmas tree too. So for the listeners. So your lower back, your erectus spinae are the two muscles that line your spine, right? Anyway,
right.
So the more defined you are, the more in shape you are, the more muscle you have compared to fat you don't have, the more you can see those muscle fibers, which we talked about earlier.
Right.
Well, they're in the shape of a Christmas tree, and this is perfect because it's Christmas time, John. This is a Christmas gift for listeners. So going into the show, I want to have the striations in my butt, and guys, Google this, guys. Listen, guys, you can ask these questions. Email John, text John. I am instant messenger him. He'll answer all these questions. Send you pictures about striated glutes and Christmas tree back. So that's what I want to have. I'm focusing on glutes and back going into the show. And so that means I'm going to do a lot of squats, a lot of plie squats. I'm not going to do traditional squats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a fan of those. And I think it's fortunate because my quads grow very quickly. But to be honest with you, John, I feel like my butt gets bigger.
Yeah.
It grows a lot.
From squats, yeah.
Yes, sir. So I like hack machines. I like the hack that I can go slower. I also like front squats a lot. So I'm going to go heavy. But what I tend to do too, and this is a great tip for your listeners as well, is I tend to do squats at the end of my leg workout. So I do the leg extensions, the leg press, the lunges. And the reason for that is this. I want to save my knees, dude.
Yeah.
You never hear anybody in the gym say, "Hey, I'm going to have some big knees." How big are your knees? So and your knees go out. They go out. I don't use wraps.
Yeah.
This is a personal thing. I feel like when you use wraps, you compress the joint together even more, which restricts the flow, which puts even more tension on the cartilage, and so eventually you have to use those wraps.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the deal, dude. If I'm warmed up and my knees feel like it's too much pressure, then I'll back off the weight. And what I'll do is I'll go slower. I'll do static hold. Listeners, that's where I would literally stop in the middle of the movement. At the peak, at the hardest part of the movement, I will stop and I will flex my muscles and I will stop there as long as possible. If I'm doing a static hold until I burn out, as long as possible, and then I'll rack the weight. Or I'll do a control static hold. So I'll say, okay, I'm going to come down. I'm going to hold this position for 5 seconds, and then I'm going to stand up with the weight. So if I'm doing squats, I would come down. In my mind, I would do a 5-second count. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. I get to the bottom of the movement. I'll come up to parallel for 5 seconds. Then I'll stand up with the weight. Okay. And I'll come back down and do it all.
Wow. So you hold it on the bottom and hold it at parallel for 5 seconds.
Right. And then another trick is, too, and I don't mind giving these tricks away because here's the deal. On the road to success, John, there are no elevators. There's only stairs.
Right.
So the information's out there, but are you going to do it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, another trick, too, John, is you go all the way down, you come up halfway, then you go back down again, then you stand all the way back up. And I do that. I teach my girls that, and when I say my girls, I mean my weightlifting girls. Because that helps you get stronger at the bottom of the movement where you tend to be the weakest at.
Yeah.
And also, too, it's a lot of glute work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of glute work at the bottom right there.
Yeah.
So, that's it, Sean. If you want any more tips, it's going to be $29.95, right? For VHS tape. For a VHS tape. I'll do VHS. All right? Or, you know what? I'll give you a recording on an 8-track.
Okay. An 8-track. All right. I got one of those. Teddy, where can we listen to your radio show?
Oh, shoot. My bad. I forgot about that. Download the TuneIn radio, right? Raya Radio, which is RAIA. Raya Radio.
Say it again, Teddy. You broke up. Say it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you? All right. I'm sorry about that. You download the TuneIn app.
Okay.
Which you like TuneIn Radio.
Okay.
And you follow Raya Radio. That's the station.
Okay.
And Raya spelled RAIA.
Okay.
And so if in your mind you're like, shoot, dude, I can't remember that. Here's a simple thing. Just go to Tonin by Teddy, which is like TONING by Teddy.
Okay.
On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. What else is there? What else is there out there, John? Instagram.
All
YouTube, that stuff.
Twitter, Facebook. You got it all, I think.
So you can just go to Toning by Teddy.
Okay.
Or and also too, you can go to the Mr. Fit Show. So MR Fit Show.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the name of the show.
MrFitShow.com.
Well, Mr. Fit Show on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, MRFIT Show. Mr. Fit Show.
Okay.
And guys, come on every Tuesday at 8:00.
Okay.
It's a super funny show, John. We mix a lot of comedy with also too answering questions. We like to reach out to the public a lot, so we do stuff like breast cancer walks. On the 23rd of December, we're going to feed the homeless.
Nice.
So there's another lung cancer association where we're going to climb 43 flights of stairs. John, I'm not looking forward to that. I may go up halfway and come out on it.
Talk about glutes, huh?
Glutes work, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I look forward to you guys. Guys, also too, if you want to email me, it's toningbyteddy@gmail.com. Again, that's TONINGBY Teddy, at gmail.com.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
I'll put all that
Thanks for the
information on
shout.
the screen so people have it.
John, you're a nice guy, dude.
All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate all the tips, and we appreciate you talking to us, Teddy. It was great to see you on stage. It was great to see you get your pro card from Florida. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you compete next year at the Tim Gardner Show, the Tampa Pro Show out in Tampa in August.
John, hey, listen, man. Please have me back on the show. I'm asking you right now on the show. Please have me back.
Okay.
I look forward to you guys tag me when you do your post on Facebook and Instagram or whatever you do it on.
Mm-hmm.
If listeners contact you and need to get to me, let me know. I'll answer them right away.
Absolutely.
That's if I'm not eating cereal. John, I've been eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal every night, a box of it. My girlfriend kills me because she pays for it, and then I blame it on the kids.
How long do you have to get off of the cereal?
I don't know. Nobody knows I'm eating cereal yet. It's just I haven't eaten cereal, John, in like 5-6 months.
Wow.
Because I've been dieting for so long. The dairy from the milk and then all that other stuff.
Yeah.
It's a habit. It's calling me, man. It's crazy.
It's your diet crush.
That's what I know.
All right, Teddy. Well, thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to having you on the show again. And maybe we could do a training video with you out at Powerhouse Gym out here in Tampa.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't think about that. See, John, I like what you think. This is great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Too bad I didn't think of that.
Yeah, we'll pick up some more training tips from you.
Yeah, there you go. All right, John. Well, you know what, guys? Until next time, stay up and stay healthy, guys.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Teddy. We'll see you soon. All right, buddy.
All right.
Bye. All right, that's it for the Florida Physique Report, episode number 51. I want to thank Teddy Atkins for joining us this week. Next week, as I said, we will be going over the sanction meeting that's taking place this weekend for the Central District in Florida. I will be out there, and we will go over the schedule for next year, the 2016 schedule. So be sure to join us for the Florida Physique Report next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you then.